is 40 minutes past 8 o'clock right now on the 21st of June, which means it's time to visit with Rekha Basu from the Des Moines Register. Good morning, Rekha. How are you?
Good morning, Lou. Good morning, Molly.
You're a little laid back here today, as you can tell, right?
I'm a little laid back, yeah, but you're all suited and booted, yeah.
All right, we can fix that like that. Don't worry about that.
So what's with the nose? Bow nose? What did
Bow
he have?
nose. That was a
nose?
campaign from Nike.
K-N-O-W-S, not N-O-S-E. Okay,
he knows football.
Not his nose, no.
Okay, I was thinking maybe he had a prominent nose and that was unkind.
No, bow nose. Football,
okay.
bow nose. Baseball, bow nose. At the campaign, he knew about everything. You know, he had a bunch of different specialties that he was. So that's what the whole bow nose campaign was all about.
Thank you for cluing me in on these matters, which
there you go.
I know very little about.
So what are you going to clue us in on? What's in the register
I'm going to clue you in on, we're having an interesting discussion before about this. I wrote a column about Kayla Palmer, who is a student at East High, just graduated last month. And she wants to go to ISU. She's determined to go to ISU. She wants to study genetics. She's very interested in sciences. She comes from a very low-income family and basically couldn't make it work financially because the parental contribution that they expected from her, which was about $7,000 a year, was just totally beyond the pale for her family. Couldn't do it. And both of her parents started out in college, community college, but did not graduate, didn't complete their 4-year degrees. She just has her heart set on ISU because it has great science labs and great programs that she wants to pursue. So I wrote her story, and there was a flood of responses, and people offered, people are so incredibly generous in this community, I have to say. People offered to support her for all 4 years of her college, not 100%, but to supplement the difference, the $7,000. 3 people offered to do that. And then a variety of other people sent donations, like a $1,000 check or a $100 check, whatever they could afford, saying that they really wanted her to succeed in her dreams. And I think so this is kind of a 2-part deal. On the one hand, I think it's extraordinary that people are that caring and giving in this community. On the other hand, the impact that it's having is a little more complicated than one might have expected, which is that she's immensely grateful, but she's also feeling a bit guilty. She's feeling guilty that she's taking money away from people who, worked hard to earn it and may have needs of their own. One is a mother, I think a single mother of young children, and she said, children cost a lot. I don't want to take her money if she might need it. So she wrote her a thank you note saying, if you ever feel like you need this money back, I'm good for it. I'll send it back to you. And
but didn't that mom say, "I'm helping you"? I read the article this morning.
Yes,
it's great. That mom said, "I'm helping you because someone else helped me."
Exactly. That's exactly what she said. Because and so there's this notion of kind of pay it forward, and which is beautiful. But then she also worries, when somebody gets a lot of attention in the newspaper, especially of her age and generation, there can be some competition, and other kids can feel like, why aren't they getting this kind of highlight, and why is she getting all this support and money? So she then feels guilty towards her friends. And she says they're going to have to pay full freight, and why am I getting helped? And what was the other piece of that? She feels guilty about getting the money. She was overwhelmed by all of the offers and the money that were coming in, and she didn't know what to do with them because she's working full time and she's got a lot of other stuff going on, and she didn't want to squander it. And so she contacted the director of financial aid at ISU, who had reached out to her after the column ran, who offered to be the middle person and deal with the grants and have them send the checks directly to ISU in certain cases.
Which takes it out of her hands,
exactly.
Which I think is the smartest thing to do. That's glad to hear that. But going back to when she said she's worried about her other people that are trying to go to school too, and they're going to have to pay full freight, and she doesn't have to, and felt guilty about that. I wouldn't feel guilty about that. You were in a situation that people stepped up and they want to help you. Like that lady said, she received some help, so she's helping, and then hopefully this person will be able to help too.
Yes, you would think. But it is, in one sense, where I get where she's coming from, is it's kind of the luck of the draw. Kayla was brought to my attention by a teacher of hers who said she's a real hard worker, great student. She pushes herself, she challenges herself to take tougher courses, and she has to, all of these things. So, he said it's tragic that someone like her wouldn't be able to go to college. And here's the dilemma for a columnist like me, right? I used her case not because she's a charity case and necessarily, and I'm asking for people to donate to her, but because I use it to illustrate what I think is a systemic problem in the ability to pay for college tuition, especially these days at state universities, where the state level commitment of dollars has just plummeted over the years. Mm-hmm. But then people focus on the individual because what else, that's the face that one is putting to
Easy
the
target,
issue,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But then there are lots of other people in the same boat who are not getting the same support. So I get that. And also she said, when you grow up poor, if a sudden pot of money comes along, you feel like it needs to go towards paying bills, like keeping the electricity on, buying food, things like that. Mm-hmm. And so then the idea that people are giving you money to go to college, which is a luxury for some people, mm-hmm. It also messes with her mind a bit. So, it's part of a whole, and I know, Molly, you have a slightly different perspective on this, but I also think that in addition to preparing young people academically to go to college, you also have to prepare them socially in some ways and culturally, for the expectations. Because I look at the Kardashians on TV and I think, imagine having that much money and feeling entitled to whatever you want, whenever you want it, what you want to do, what you want to spend on, what you want to buy for yourself, mm-hmm. and then growing up in a home like hers where a little bit of money comes along and it's for life-saving, life-sustaining measures. And so how do you adjust to the needs of money and getting money and all of that stuff?
Now, Molly, I want to get your take on this too, because you are in a unique situation where you've seen a couple of different sides when it comes to education, whether it be the state institution or it be a private institution or even the community college area too. So what's your take on this?
Well, I work for DMAC, so we talked about that off air, mm-hmm. and DMAC prides itself on being that affordable solution. And this isn't a commercial for DMAC, but we know that the jobs of the future are really actually going to be a lot of 2-year jobs where you just need 2 years of post-high school education. And there's such a push for that bachelor's degree. And I have the bachelor degree. In full disclosure, I went to Drake University on an athletic scholarship. So I can't sympathize with the paying of college. I just can't. I can talk about, the hard work that goes into being a student athlete. But DMAC, is so affordable. And a lot of students in her situation, we'd like to funnel them to DMAC first and then send them to Iowa State. But that's just my take on a little part of that. My second thing is, this is expensive. College is expensive. Yeah. The Regents just voted to raise tuition again, and I think another $150 for students. Mm-hmm. So we know the problem. But Rekha, we like to write about the problem. What's the solution?
The solution is greater government commitment. I mean, it used to be that private colleges were the thing that were off limits to low-income families, but now, ironically, some private colleges are giving full-ride scholarships, needs-based admission to cover the needs of any student that's good enough academically to get in. I think that state universities and state colleges used to be the fallback for people who couldn't afford to go to private colleges.
The so-called affordable education.
Exactly,
right.
That was an affordable education, and everyone should be able to grow up with the expectation that if they want to advance their station in life, they can go to a 4-year college and that it will be supported by the state or with federal assistance. So I think that that's a really big problem, Molly, that it's no longer that. It's no longer education is no longer the great equalizer in the way that it used to be, a higher education. And I completely understand with what you're saying about community college. I love DMAC, and here's just a little aside. We, after Rob's death, 11 years ago, we created a scholarship at DMAC, and it's called the Rob Borsellino Journalism Scholarship. And it's for, I know you don't have a journalism degree program, but it's for students who are interested in writing and bringing their own life experiences and stories to their writings. So that's been sending young kids of limited means through DMAC.
That's awesome.
For a number of years. So I love DMAC. In so many ways, I love DMAC. But I think in Kayla's experience, both of her parents started out at community colleges, and both of them did not go on and complete their degrees. And so she has a little bit of a hang-up about that. She's concerned that the same thing would happen to her. And also, she just loves ISU because she loves their science labs. She spent time there. One of her professors went there and has been chatting it up for a while. So I don't think it's an either-or thing. And I think in a lot of cases, starting out at DMAC or completing a 2-year degree, if you're interested in one of the technical skilled trades, is the right thing to do. But there are certain subjects where, you're going to, if you want to be a professor, for example, that certain names, colleges and departments stand out in the recruiting field. And so you also want, to be able to get that on your resume.
But as a stepping stone, DMAC is still an option.
Oh yeah, DMAC's a great option. Again, the problem is the cost of education and how do we bring it down. We could either pay more taxes.
I would. Happily. Happily.
And people want to pay teachers more too, and I don't disagree with that, but we'd have to pay more taxes to pay teachers more, or we'd have to, but there also is reallocation of the money in the funds. I mean, it's a problem. Finding a solution is difficult.
I mean, I could tell you exactly what I would take money away from the military, and I would take money away from lowering taxes for very rich people.
And a lot of people would push on you in that.
I know, believe me, I know, which is why I'm taking the summer off. So they'll have no one to beat up on. No.
Yeah, Rekha's taking a little hiatus after today. But again, because you're so busy, and that's the thing that's so crazy about the industry that you're in right now.
Yes,
it's more than just sitting down, and we're going to go way back to the old school here, way back in front of the typewriter. Yeah. Now we're talking about all these different platforms you have to juggle.
Exactly. It is. And I just want to spend more time also doing research in other parts of the state. For example, we were just talking earlier, Molly and I want to go to Western Iowa, spend some time there and do some research, because I really, in 25 years, I've never been to Sioux City, and I want to know, what life is like there and what politics is like there, and why, and sort of to understand the culture a little bit. So I just need a chance to be freed up a little bit from day-to-day stuff to do those kinds of things. But I will very much be in town and writing my column, and I'll pop in.
I'll say if something happens, or you run across another prince or something that happens to be in town. You were around when Rekha brought the prince over?
The first openly gay member of royalty in the world, a prince from India, Crown Prince, who came and sat on the show and was pretty hilarious.
That was pretty fun.
He was
That was
That's
a riot.
neat. And as you're heading to Sioux City, if you want to go by way of Fort Dodge, that would be a great pit stop to see a wonderful, wonderful town.
Okay, so what's a great restaurant there?
Oh, they have a good bar and grill called Sports Page.
Okay.
I like that. It's good. Great sandwiches.
Thank you.
There you go. So is it Fort Dodge or Fort Dodge?
It's
Fort
Dodge.
Dodge.
As far as I'm concerned.
There you go. Perfect. Wonderful.
Okay,
Rekha, good to see you. Enjoy your summer.
Thank you so
All right,
much.
and of course, you know where we are in case you need us.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
All right,
Thank
it's
you so
8:52 right now, and we will be right back. You're watching CW Iowa Live in West Des Moines.